Hello everyone, my name is Gerd and welcome to another episode of... Today we have got the BluGuitar Amp1 Mercury edition with us. The Mercury is the second output from BluGuitar after the very successful Silver edition, and I already reviewed the metal version, the Iridium edition. You can watch the video up here. First we're gonna listen to a full mix with two guitars, one pent hard left and the other one pent hard right, and I programmed a bass and some drums. Then we will listen to the isolated guitars. I will play some chords, chuck some riffs, and I will turn some of the knobs. Alright, have fun! So the design of the Mercury edition is very easy to understand. We have input for your guitar, the FX loop send and return, the recording out with an analog frequency corrected cap sim. On the Mercury and Silver edition this should simulate a Marshall 4x12 from 1970 with old Celestion greenbacks with 25 watts and 55 Hz. On the Iridium edition it's simulating a 4x12 with V30s. Next we have the power amp outputs for 8 ohm and 16 ohm for different cabinets. Then comes the connector for the foot switch, either with an TRS cable to toggle between the clean and overdrive channel or a separate MIDI 1 cable, or you can use the remote 1. Far left we have the on-off switch and the voltage. At the front we can select the preamp channel. This is the volume knob for the clean channel. Next is the gain and the master knob for the overdrive channels. Then a 3-band EQ, bass, middle, treble. But the bass knob handles bass and depth from the power amp and the treble knob handles treble and presence from the power amp. Far right we have the master volume and an adjustable reverb knob. At the bottom are 3 foot switches. You can run the Mercury in a direct access mode. This means the left foot switch is for switching between clean and overdrive, the middle foot switch is for activating the boost and the right foot switch for turning on/off the reverb. The other mode is called preset mode and you can dial in different preamp channels with or without boost, reverb, FX loop on/off and save it to one of the foot switches. At the side you can see the custom tone controls for dialing in the preamp tones from a vintage type of tone to a more modern sound with scoop mids, etc. And you can adjust the volumes of the different channels to your liking. I will show you that soon too. So the signal flow for today is again my Ziggy Brown, the Heritage signature guitar. I'm going into my multi-effect on the floor and I hooked up my multi-effect with the Amp1 via the 4-cable method. In that way I can run effects before the preamp or in the effects loop. And I also turned on the looper in my multi-effect. I then can record a riff and have my hands free to turn some of the knobs. Then we are going into my Angle 4x12 cabinet. This is a V30 speaker and the SM57 microphone. And there's no low cut, no high cut on the tones, no false audio, just a pure tone coming out of that thing. Okay, now I'm getting my plectrum and we start without the boost. We start with the clean channel with all the knobs to noon. This is at noon, masters at 2, and yeah, this is the clean channel. Sweet. Let's activate the reverb for the clean. And a delay from my multi-effect. Okay, now deactivate the reverb and let's switch to the overdrive channel. Now we are in the classic mode and we're going to the vintage mode. So this is the vintage mode with gain all the way up. We already have a metal rhythm tone. Let's activate the boost. Nice, great. Let's deactivate the boost and let's go to the classic channel. Ah, nice, I like that. Like a very hot Marshall. Even some, I will be careful when I say that, but like a 5150 type of thing. More Marshall, but something like that. Let's activate the boost. There's some dirt in the sound, some crunch. I like that. Let's deactivate the boost and let's go to the modern channel. The bass response is a bit flubby. And the sound is becoming clearer, more modern. Almost sounds like a broken speaker or something. Let's reduce the gain, maybe that helps. And let's activate the boost. Yeah, but my favorite channel with the Mercury is definitely the Classic. So I will go back to the Classic. I will record a riff and then I have my hands free to turn the knobs. A great variety of tones, and like I said, the bass is handling the bass and the depth from the Power Amp 2 and the treble and presence from the Power Amp. So now let's turn some knobs of the tone controls here on the side. Therefore I have a little helper, my screwdriver, and I will let the looper do its thing. Let's get my guitar out of the way. Alright, looper, do your thing. Classic channel. A nice variety, and like I said, from more vintage mid-focus stuff to a more modern, less mids, scoop mid sound with more aggression and more bite and sizzle and crunch to it. Let's do the same thing in the modern channel. So modern, looper again. So here the differences are more subtle, not so noticeable as in the Classic channel. Let's go back to the Classic channel and I will try out the boost, because you can also dial in the boost to your liking from just a clean boost to a more overdriven kind of a boost. So let's get the boost all the way to the left. Looper, do your thing. And I will activate the boost and then turning the boost knob, right? Also just subtle differences, but definitely noticeable. And I like the boost just as a clean boost, not as a distortion boost. Get it back on this way. And you also have here on the side, you can change the FX loop from parallel to serial. And you have the noise gate with 3 settings, metal, off and soft. And if you have it on metal, the noise gate cuts the sound very directly. And if you activate the verb, it will switch automatically to soft, so that your solo is not cut away or your tone doesn't get cut. Nice feature, BluGuitar, I like it. So, and like I said, we are only at 2 at the master. You can dial this thing in to 10, but then my whole city will hear me playing guitar. And yeah, for my GearNet corner, it's already too loud here, but I'm having so much fun. Great stuff, BluGuitar, great stuff. And I already was massively impressed of my Iridium edition, the metal version of the Amp1. But you can get some decent metal tones out of this thing as well. It's a bit different than the Iridium. It's more vintage high gain stuff, something like that. The sound is a bit more open, and Sometimes the bass is a bit floppy. And on the Iridium edition, it's all trimmed to that metal sound, more tight bass response, and so on. Yeah. And I will make an amp comparison, some battle of the amp comparison between the Mercury and the Iridium edition. Okay, and now it's your turn again. How do you like the Amp1 Mercury edition from BluGuitar? Please tell me your opinions down there in the comments below. And yeah, if you like what I'm doing, please give this video a like, subscribe to my channel and hit that bell notification so that you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. With that being said, thank you for your attention and see you guys on the next one. Bye bye, ciao!